guys, it's the Friday. I think the common theme of this series of vlogs is that I don't actually know what day it is. It's Friday. It's day 5 of BookTube-A-Thon, I think. Pretty sure. Again, don't really know what day it is. Anyway, welcome to another reading vlog. I also don't know what time it is. It's after 11 o'clock and before noon, I think. Anyway, I just kind of like got up this morning. I did a little bit of reading. I've read some more of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't remember how much I read because I don't know where I started, but I'm almost halfway through the book. And what else? I'm enjoying it. It's very good. I also listened to about half an hour of my audiobook, and those are the kind of 2 things that I'm focusing on today, is just continuing to listen to the audiobook and continuing to read 7 Husbands. I ran out and dropped some of my boxes off for a friend who needed them, and then I went to the grocery store and bought a couple more things, because that's what happens when you move. You go to the grocery store and you're like, oh, I don't need anything, and then you remember 12,000 things that you actually need. Anyway, so now I'm back. My plan right now is to read a little bit more. I might put my nightstand together. It's the last big IKEA furniture purchase that I haven't put together. I'm a little scared of it because it's small, but I think it's going to be kind of complicated because there's a drawer and stuff. So we'll see how successful I am with that. But I'll listen to my audiobook while I do that, if that is what happens. And then I just need to do some like little household things, and today I really do actually like want to focus on trying to get the Curious Beginning and the 7 Husbands finished so that I can finish. I really want to have like 2 days for Nevernight because I think it's going to take me at least that long. By the way, I set up my new camera angle. I think this is going to work until I get a ring light, but it'll be a while before I can get any kind of lighting. So we're using the window. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but it'll work. I'm sitting sideways in the chair. It feels weird, but that's fine. I think this is going to be kind of a really chill, boring day, but we'll see. I don't know how my days are going right now. They're just kind of happening. Hey guys, it's Saturday now, so I didn't really feel like vlogging very much yesterday. I didn't do a whole lot except I did some reading. I listened to my audiobook for quite a while. I attempted to put together my nightstand and then put the drawer together backwards, and I can't take it apart, and I got annoyed, and then I was just kind of in a bad mood and I didn't really want to do anything. So that was yesterday. I finished The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo this morning. It was quite good and made me very thoughtful. I don't know if I liked it necessarily, but it was a very interesting book. I'll talk more about it in my wrap-up. I need to think about it for a little bit. I listened to a little bit more of my audiobook, and now I am gonna go to a coffee shop just to kind of like get out of my apartment. I've sort of just been like here all week and I'm gonna try to do some writing. I've brought my last 2 books that I need to read with me. I'll probably start one of those also, and so yeah, I don't really know what else I'm doing, which is common. So I will try to update at least once more today. Probably I'll end up doing like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday vlog again, just because I don't know if I'm gonna have enough footage to do anything except that. But yes, that is how things are going. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. So it's about 9:30. I went to a coffee shop and I did some writing, and then I came home and I did some more writing. I basically did that until like 8 o'clock, so haven't really gotten anything else done today, including any more reading. So I was thinking about what I want to do because I'm kind of concerned that I'm not going to be able to finish Nevernight, even if I pick it up from where I start, like where technically I am. I was going to start it over. I'm like halfway through, but it's been a couple of months since I've read anything, so I wanted to like start back at the beginning, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to read it in a day, and I still have to finish A Curious Beginning, and I have like 2 hours left. I think like 4 or 5 chapters. I don't know how many pages that is. So I was staring at my bookshelves, and what I decided to do is switch out Nevernight for a different book. Particularly, yeah, I'll read this one. This is Unnatural Death by Dorothy Sayers. It's a like 1930s British murder mystery. It's one of my favorite stories, and I just got this edition from Book Depository. It's the like new UK paperbacks. The US ones look like they're like all old and ugly, but so I got these, which are gorgeous and stunning, and the spine is quite lovely. You can't even see really all the details. Some of them are sort of subtle. So I am going to read this. It's short. It'll be a reread, so I'll definitely be able to finish it and the other book. So those are the only two things I need to finish. Now, I accidentally reread the Haydn Game over the last couple of days, so I'm gonna count that as one of my books instead of the Sign of Three or whatever the Lloyd Alexander book is called. Lots of shuffling, lots of mood reading. Also, I wasn't really in the mood for Nevernight. So anyway, I'm a little mad that I've been doing so much reshuffling with my TBR, but I would rather complete all the challenges and read 7 books than stick with my TBR. So that's how we're going. I'm just gonna kind of like read for the rest of the night, so I'll say goodnight now, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, it's Sunday now. I just finished filming and taking pictures for the last day's BookTube-A-Thon challenges. It was, they were both about your favorite book, so I picked this because that was a no-brainer. Yeah, go watch the video if you want to know why, because I'll just start talking and then I won't stop, and you gotta stop me, guys. Someday I'll do like an hour-long video about why I love The Lord of the Rings, but that is not this day. What have I done otherwise? Not a whole lot. I went to church. I had lunch out with some friends, and then I came home and I did these things. It is almost 2 o'clock. So what I'm going to do now is edit the... No, I'm not. What I'm going to do now is do some reading for a little bit. Last night I did indeed finish A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayburn, which was my like audiobook. I actually finished reading it because I knew I could read it faster than I could listen to the last 2 hours, and I did. So it was good. It was just like a fun story. I am looking forward to getting my hands on the sequels, and I quite enjoyed that. I'll talk more about it in my wrap-up. So I just have one more book to read, and I decided instead of Nevernight, which is a book with a beautiful spine, for my book with a beautiful spine, I'm going to read this one. I think I talked about this yesterday. It's just, whoops, upside down, first of all. It's actually quite a nicely designed just book in general, but I like the spines. I really enjoyed looking at them on my bookshelf. I'm about 50 pages into this. I'm in chapter 6, but I know I can finish this today. It's a reread. It's a book that I've read before, but I really love this series. This is one of the Lord Peter Wimsey mysteries by Dorothy Sayers. If you like Agatha Christie at all, read these. I recommend reading them in chronological order because the main character, Lord Peter Wimsey, his character develops as the books progress. So it's not really like an official series, but there is kind of a progression. They don't number them though, so you have to find. The first one is called Whose Body? But you can also just pick them up and read them in whatever order you want. But I just really love the series. This is another contender for favorite books, not this book particularly, but anyway, I'm gonna ramble now. It's a murder mystery. Lord Peter and his friend, Detective Inspector Charles Parker, are overheard having a debate at a restaurant by a doctor who tells them about this woman who had cancer that he was taking care of in his like small practice in this small town in England, and she died kind of unexpectedly, and the doctor was just like, something wasn't quite right. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable with the way that she died, even though it seems like it was just totally natural. And so he like did an autopsy and an inquest, and in the process kind of damaged his reputation because people were like, are you hinting that there is something wrong? Because obviously there's not. And he ends up having to like sell his practice and leave town. And Peter is very intrigued by this mysterious mystery and decides to go and metal in it. And so I'm gonna sit down and read this now, and I will update you guys when I have finished it and do a little bit of a wrap up and close out this vlog. I cannot believe that it's day 7 already of BookTube-A-Thon. It's crazy. So it's about 4:25 and I've just kind of been reading. I posted my favorite book video on YouTube. If you haven't seen that yet, you should go watch it. I gush about Lord of the Rings for 8 minutes. It's great. I am more than halfway through this book. I don't think I'll finish it. I have getting together with some people for dinner tonight, so I don't know if I will finish it before that, but it's an early dinner, so I can finish it after if I need to. It's cool. This is my 7th book for BookTube-A-Thon, so almost done. It's been a while since I've read a Dorothy Sayers mystery, and I love them so much. I almost have I have 2 copies of a lot of the books at this point. I'm collecting the rest in these editions. But I forgot how funny these are. I've just been laughing out loud. Lord Peter is hysterical. He's just so funny. Constantly making all kinds of jokes. And it's my favorite when a lot of times he kind of plays up the kind of like flighty, ignorant, rich guy. So he just like acts like an idiot. And it lets him kind of blather on and ask stupid questions, and people are like, oh, whatever, he's just one of those English peers, you know, pats him on the head, but he's actually really sharp. And it's great. He makes all kinds of hilarious references. I'm not gonna lie, just like the desire to understand some of like more of Lord Peter's references has led me to read a lot of classic fiction, because he's very well learned and very well read. One of his things, you know, the special detective trope things, is that he is a collector of rare books. Dorothy Sayers had a degree from Oxford before Oxford gave women degrees, so she was also very well read and very well educated. And it shows in these books, and that's one of the things that has kind of like led me to pursue studying the classics. I just want to understand these books. I've been reading Dorothy Sayers since high school, so it's been kind of a decade-long journey at this point, and I'm nowhere close, but I'm getting more of the jokes now, so that's a good thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop talking and go back to reading. I did it! So I just finished Unnatural Death by Dorothy Sayers. 5 stars, always and forever. I really, really enjoy all of the Lord Peter Wimsey mysteries, but I do like this one. It's not my favorite. I prefer the Lord Peter Harriet Vane ones, particularly Gaudy Night and Busman's Honeymoon, but this one is very good. I like the kind of moral and ethical questions it raises. Is Peter right in kind of meddling in a problem that ultimately didn't hurt anyone except somebody who was already dying, and then ended up with a number of deaths? Was that his fault for coming into the problem and trying to solve the case, or was that gonna happen anyway? Was the person always gonna have done that kind of crime? Which is really interesting. You also see a little glimpse of Lord Peter's post-traumatic stress disorder, which Sayers continues to develop. This is the 3rd book that she completed in the Lord Peter Wimsey stories. Like I said earlier, they're not an official series, but it's helpful to read them in chronological order, and this is the 3rd one. As Lord Peter's character develops, that aspect of his character, which has always been there, it was there in the 1st book, continues to kind of shape him, and it becomes a more complex and nuanced look. Basically, he fought in World War I, and because of his experiences, he has post-traumatic stress disorder. He gets into detective work as kind of a hobby because he's rich and he doesn't have to work, and he needs something to occupy his mind, and he's really good at it. But on the converse side, a lot of times solving a case triggers a relapse of his kind of like particular form of PTSD, and so there's this like tension that gets more deeply explored, but you see it a little bit here. Anyway, I just really like these. I like the moral and ethical questions that Sayers raises. They're funny, they're entertaining, they're clever stories. Then you have that kind of touch of complexity with Lord Peter's character. This book in particular, it was written in 1927, so there's a character, a kind of very minor character from Trinidad. I guess that's the British Virgin Islands. I should know my geography better. But he is a person of color, and some of the characters respond in a kind of racist way, and they use racist language. Lord Peter never does that, and Sayers is clearly not on their side. All of those characters are kind of, we're not meant to take their opinion as Sayers' opinion, but it's there, so just a warning. That's kind of a thing. So if that bothers you, don't read this one. That's not common in her stories, it happens to be in this one. So that was the end of BookTube-A-Thon. This was a really interesting experience. It's my first BookTube-A-Thon. I, wasn't on BookTube last year, so I didn't know about it. It was like a lot more work than I expected, which was fine. It wasn't like I was doing anything else. I did about 4 of the Instagram challenges, which was really fun. I enjoyed those a lot, and I did 2 or 3, I don't even remember, of the YouTube challenges. I did, however, complete all of the challenges. I'm very proud of myself. I did have to do a little bit of rejiggering my TBR. I was definitely a little bit too ambitious. Not like I could have done it. I know I could have done it. Some of it had to do with just my mood a couple of the days, but I thought I would just go through really quick and recap what I have read and just reshare my thoughts to end this vlog. So the first book I finished was The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. This was the Let a Coin Toss Decide Your First Read challenge, and I really liked this one. I gave it 4.5 stars. There were a couple of things the author did that I wasn't super thrilled with, and I felt like the ending got a little muddly, but for a first book, it's incredible. It's very good. I talked about this a lot in my first vlog, so go over there and watch it if you want more kind of in-depth discussion of the book. But anyway, that was my first one. Next, I finished European Travels for the Monstrous Gentlewoman by Theodora Goss. 4 stars. I really enjoy this. It was super fun. I also talk about it in my first vlog quite a lot, so I won't like rehash all of that here. I do kind of wish I had picked a shorter book. It's a quick read, but it was also 700 pages, and a 700-page quick read is still kind of a long read. So anyway, shorter books next time, but this one was really good. Challenges. This I did for the challenge of reading a book about something you would like to do, which was travel Europe. That was that challenge. The next book I completed was Truman Capote's Breakfast at Tiffanys. This is a novella, and it was for 2 challenges. The first challenge is I read the book and wore my hat the whole time. I'm not gonna put it on. And then I also did the read a book and watch the movie adaptation. So this was 2 challenges. And I really enjoyed both the book and the movie. They were very similar at the beginning, and then still pretty similar in the second half, although the movie added a romance that the book doesn't have. And so that kind of changed the point of the story. It made the main character in the book just a little bit more of the like manic pixie dream girl character. She's kind of the strange, quirky, fascinating girl that the guy falls in love with, and it changes his life. It doesn't feel quite as like tropey, probably because the movie was made in the early 1960s. So that's helpful anyway. It did bug me a little bit that there was a love story, but if you kind of like get past the fact that it's not supposed to happen, it was kind of cute. The ending is really cute. This story is not a love story. It's more just about a really interesting, strange, quirky character. And I felt like at the end, the point was kind of like, look at this person and look at how we get to see kind of like her surface and like the way she appears to the world, and then the narrator learns some things about her past, about her life, that lets you see a little bit deeper into some of, you can kind of guess at the reasons for her actions, and for the way that she's living. She's really just searching for meaning and purpose, and she can't find it, and she doesn't know how. And so you see a little bit of this kind of like, everybody has a complex character, even the people that you think don't. And I really appreciated that message, and I enjoyed the story very much. So that was the third book I finished. It was nice to read something short too. I think the next book I finished was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a book that's been everywhere, so you've probably heard about it. If you haven't, the basic synopsis is that this woman, Monique Grant, is a kind of new reporter for this magazine called Vivant, and Evelyn Hugo, this wildly famous actress who's now in her late 70s, contacts Vivant and says she wants to do an article, and she hasn't done any press for a long time, so it would be a huge scoop, but her condition is that it has to be with Monique. And when Monique goes to meet with Evelyn, she learns that Evelyn doesn't actually want Monique to write an article. She wants to to have Monique write her biography. And so Monique agrees, and so we get the life story of Evelyn Hugo, and we also get a little bit of information about Monique, but there's occasionally a chapter of Monique kind of talking about like her reactions to Evelyn and some things that are going on in her own life. And Evelyn's story is really, really fascinating. This book kind of feels a little bit like a gossip story, but then it ends up being incredibly heartfelt and definitely packs a big emotional punch. Again, there were a couple of things in here that I don't necessarily agree with, that the author was kind of supporting, but in all, a very good story, very well written, very compelling. I can see why it's getting so much acclaim. Then I reread the Haydn Game because I just love the story so much. I did talk about this in another vlog again. It's just so cute. It's just so cute. So Lucy Hutton and Joshua Templeton are personal assistants to the co-CEOs of a publishing company, and they hate each other. And they play all of these games to like get under each other's skin and get on each other's nerves. And then a new position is announced, and Lucy and Josh are both encouraged to apply for it, and it would be a huge promotion for whoever gets the job. And so now they're in even more competition with each other, and of course you know that it's coming, they're gonna fall for each other. So it's just so cute. I really like Lucy and Josh. I like the complexity of both of their characters. It is a romance, it's not literary, but it's well written, so they don't have like an enormously complex depth, but they're definitely like well-rounded characters. They're really interesting. I like that the story focused more on their relationship rather than their makeout sessions. There are some, they do kiss and stuff in the book, but that is not the focus of the story, and I really prefer romances that focus on the people and not the physical relationship that they have. So just watching Lucy and Josh get to know each other better was really, really precious and charming. I love the hate to love trope. It's my favorite. Pride and Prejudice, Much Ado About Nothing. It's been around for a long time. So anyway, I did a reread of that. So that was just my 7th book. I also finished A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayburn. This was another book because Breakfast at Tiffany's covered 2 challenges. I had 2 books that just didn't have a challenge attached. And A Curious Beginning is about a woman named Veronica Speedwell. She was a foundling raised by 2 sisters who have now passed away. She is renowned as a butterfly expert, a lepidopterist in her own right, which is a little unusual as it is the very late 1800s. And just like right after the funeral for her last surviving aunt, Veronica's house is broken into, and she's sped away to London by someone who claims that he knows about her and that she's in danger, and she's dumped with the friend of this mysterious man, and the friend's name is Stoker, and then the other guy gets killed, and Veronica and Stoker have to figure out who did it and why Veronica is in trouble. This was just like, again, kind of a fun story. I really enjoyed it. The twists and turns were really interesting. If anything, I feel like it was maybe a little bit too long, but that might have just been because I was listening to it, and I read much faster than anybody can talk, so any book that I listen to feels really long. But that was fine. The narrator was good in the audiobook, and I'm glad I had an audiobook. I listened to it a lot while I was like putting together furniture and stuff. And then the final book that I finished was A Natural Death by Dorothy Sayers, and this was to read a book with a beautiful spine, which it is. So that was everything. 7 books, met all of the challenges. I'm very proud of myself. Yeah, for first BookTube-A-Thon, this was super fun. I have no idea if I'll be able to participate again next year. I hope so, but with school and everything, like, who knows. So I'm glad that this one was pretty successful. I'm definitely pleased with the level of participation that I was able to have. And I read or reread a lot of great books. So that was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed watching all of these vlogs, and thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.